Welcome everyone to the first episode recap and review of the first episode of the first season of Warrior. My good friend Josh said a lot of good things about this series, so I wanted to check it out as soon as it came to Netflix. It just came out today, so I do apologize that there's not going to be a lot of background pictures for this one because I didn't know it was coming out today, so I'm really rushing this. Him and also like the premise just really interests me. I want to start talking about this, get the hype going for it, see if we can maybe get another season, and I just wanted to talk about some older shows, newer shows on this channel in general. So we start off with our main character, Assam, looking at a photo of a woman for getting off a immigration ship in San Francisco, 1870. Man in a suit named Wang Chao speaks with everyone through the loud yelling of the Irishman telling them to go back to their own country. One of the officers of the expedition abuses his power to one of the men, and Assam steps up and says, "I didn't travel halfway across the world in that boat just to amuse some fat white fucks." He just kicks their ass. We found out Assam has an American grandfather, which is why he can speak English. Which is a bummer how quickly they switched to English. Chow takes Assam to see Father Jun and his son, Young Jun, where he's going to start working with them to prepare for a possibly upcoming war. We cut to another character, Samuel Blake, which is the mayor, his wife, and their advisor, Buckley. Buckley tells them about two Chinese men who were killed in the middle of the night, and they both got arrested. Blake wants to keep things under wraps for now, but Mrs. Blake isn't really in support of the government and doesn't seem to love the mayor, even though they were previously married. Merriweather, a businessman, talks about how he needs protection from Chinatown to the mayor. So they give Bill O'Hara, a police officer, a promotion of running the Chinatown squad, which he isn't too happy with because he was supposed to be transferred recently. Back to Young Jun, takes Assam to a toy who runs the place, and Assam asks about this girl he's looking for named Zhaojin, which Atoy says, she doesn't know who she is. Cut back to Bill listening in on new character, Dylan Leary, talking about how everyone is taking, the Irishman's jobs away from them, and there's like this huge unemployment rate right now, and he plans on starting a civil war with the Chinese specifically. Seems faction, the Long Ji, threaten Young Jun and Assam for mentioning the name Zhaojin, and Assam just kicks their asses in the dope action scene. I love how very very definitely like the vibe of, I can tell the Bruce Lee inspirations that this is based off of, because he's just so cocky, and he sits on this guy after he just knocked him out. Gives him a warning and flirts with him a little bit, talks about he's gonna need some connections if he wants to stick around here. And also she's the third character to warn him this episode to hey, stop what you're doing, you're causing a lot of issues. Bill recruits his squadron where only one of the four volunteer willingly. That one is Officer Lee, who testified earlier on this episode against the two murderers, like I said a few scenes ago, and he did arrest them as well. Assam is marked with a brand, being a member, and then we cut to Lee. Doesn't seem to be fitting in the ways that the police are run. He's pretty new, pretty young, as he witnesses Bill also get illegal weapons off of Xiao, he's not really a fan. He wants to change things, it seems. Going back to the two murderers get out of jail by Leary, but $15 a piece. They get out for murder. Young Jun he's just a bro, and he warns him like, hey, don't go around his territory. And he's the fourth person now to warn him. Leary warns Bill to have Lee not to go after his guys. Then he just beats the shit out of one of them, another random person in a brawl. Weird scene before this as well, where Mayor Bill wears a mask and goes to a whorehouse because he's not. His wife refuses to have sex with him. He's also bi, which I don't know. I mean, dope, but I didn't need this episode. Then we get Sam going to the Longzai front door asking for Zhao Jin, where he fights a guy who actually gives him quite a bit of run for his money. That was the standout fight for me this episode, I think. Then Zhao Jin, who turns out to be his sister, ends the fight. We get all this exposition in this scene, which I would have rather seen gradually over time. I mean, I don't really want her to be abused or like sexually assaulted, but I didn't like that this was all introduced in the first episode and with exposition. It was a very show don't tell like approach, but anyway, Zhao Jin kicks him out for being like, apparently he was a big cause of her pain, and she now goes by Mei Ling, and this is now where she resides. Mei Ling talks with Long Zai, who is her lover, and he asks her to set up a meeting with Father June to try to get an understanding again. He wants peace. Assam goes to see Zhao, and he tries to get passage back since his sister doesn't want to come back with him. Didn't really put up much of a fight. He was right. He is kind of an idiot because, I mean, Father John owns him now, so he can't go anywhere. I didn't love how quickly Atong seems to be interested in Assam, and like they make love this episode. Didn't love that. And it also is pretty ridiculous how every single female character has been naked like this episode. Anyway, Mei Ling goes meeting with Buckley about what he told her. She then goes to kill those murderers who got out of review this episode. The story does intrigue me, and I think it did a pretty good job at introducing all the characters we at least need to know. We know their motivations, we know a little bit about them, we know the setting. I think it's pretty well choreographed. Obviously, there are some issues a little bit with the writing. Very exposition heavy. This episode felt in certain scenes. Like I said, this very much was like, hey, this is an adult show with all the nudity and action and such. So I hope that they have that to sell this episode to all the boys out there. I hope we actually like really get into the thick of the story, and it doesn't just become like what a teenage boy would like. And my last critique is I hope the lighting gets better, because I thought the lighting was pretty rough this episode. So, but that could just be budget for pilot. So I'd say overall 6 out of 10, could be worse. So my plans for this show is to talk about each episode on Fridays. I'm so far only going to talk about the first season. I don't want to promise the other 2 seasons just in case I don't like the show. But I'm at least going to, for my good buddy Josh, I'm going to give at least this first season a watch. It's 10 episodes, so, watch it along with me. You can check it out on Netflix. And I'll see you all next time. Stay cozy.